Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. All right, let's get this video going. All right, so today we got ourselves an interesting little build. We got a Corsair 4000D Airflow. We have a Ryzen 7 7800 XT, 32 gigs of 6000 megahertz DDR5 CL36, 1 terabyte 980 Pro. We have a RX7800 XT. We got ourselves a Gigabyte B650 Gaming XAX, 1000 watt Corsair power supply, and a Corsair H100i. Elite Capex. Alright, let's go ahead and get this going. We got an AM5 board, we got a DDR5. Hopefully we don't run into any compatibility issues. Hopefully we don't. Start with that. Let's pull out screws for our M.2s. This is the Wi-Fi, so I'll make sure to leave that out. Set that over to the side. Let's go ahead and... First things first, we're going to get our CPU installed. It's always the first thing that I do. Which one? They have the name of the motherboard? Yeah, it's a Gigabyte B650. I can't even say it right. I took 2 tries, couldn't say it right. Alright, let's get this installed, and I guess let me switch over to my lav mic here. Get this bad boy cranked open. I always like these chips are so chunky. There we go. There we go. Don't do that. All right. Down and in. And of course you got this giant box. It does not come with a cooler. Just all styrofoam behind it. Yes, they're actually like it's a, what is it? It's a recessed socket whose name I'm forgetting now. But it is no longer a like a pinned solution. It is they're surface mounted, and they're the little springs like Intel uses. All right, first things first, we got the CPU in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and toss our NVMe. This is our Gen 5 on this motherboard, so this is gonna be speedy. Though, like, to be perfectly honest, 99% of people can't tell the difference between this and just a regular plugged-in SATA hard drive. And as a reminder, gotta make sure you peel this off, and that just goes right into the top. Yes, of course it does. That's why there's only one X16 slot, and the other one is this should be a by 8, and this one should be a by 8. I'd have to check the manual, but usually that's what that means. That's why like this one is silver and these two are not. All right, next, set that off to the side. We're gonna get the cooler attached. All right, we got our 3 fans. We have our radiator and pump, our Corsair Commander, and again, we're going to need not that one, that one, need this one, and then all of our screws are going to go back into that box. That seemed like a pretty good solution on the last one. All right, set these off to the side. These are what we replace on the actual cooler itself. And we have our screws. So let's go ahead and get these screws off of here. Oh. All right, that's on there. That's ready to go. Next, we are going to set this off to the side. Like that. Take these. Make sure you hold on to these. You never want to throw them out. All right, let's go ahead and get this built. So we know exactly how this is going to go into the case. Same as always, it is a Corsair case, so we're going to mount it in there. It's going to go like this. Oh, there is a bunch of bent fins in here, I can see. Like, look at that. I'll straighten them out as best I can. So it's going to go in there like this. So we're going to, what is facing me is the back. So we will have all of the cables pointing towards me. So cables are going to go like that. Lest I forget, we need all these screws. All right, now, so we got that. They are all facing the correct direction. Now we're going to get some, grab some screws. All right, so those screws are all in there. While we got this out, the next step is going to be installing this into the actual case. Now we're going to remove this, and then we are going to take on these. You can see that there's letters printed. That means at the bottom. So you want to have the non-letters pointing up. Goes like that. Goes like that. Set that up there before we go ahead and get this installed into the case. And we're going to pop the case open now. Got a Corsair 4000D airflow. This is a mostly Corsair build. If Corsair built their, had their own motherboards, I'd probably try and use that. Corsair had their own video cards, I'd probably use that. Corsair had their own storage, I'd probably use that. Just to do a Corsair build, not because I like their products. Just to, try and get like a uniform look. I like doing that. Like, if I buy an MSI motherboard, I try and get an MSI video card. That way you end up with less software on the computer controlling everything. Alright. This is going to be shocking here in a second. And by shocking, I mean literally electrically shocking me. Alright, so first things first, we're going to take the back panel off, because once I take the back panel off, there should be... Come on, tape. You're supposed to just tear like normal. A little box down here. And what we're going to do is, before we put anything in here, we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to remove this. This build will not use this in any way, shape, or form. And then that gives us nice, quick, easy access to this box. Which that box has the hardware for inside of there. That goes down there. And now we flip it over. Pull that tape off of there. Now we do our glass panel. It's always bothered me. Like, whenever I put these builds together, I have the Corsair little flag up here in the corner, but they have it coming the other way. Preference. All right. This is one where we have a front fan and we have a rear fan, and they're going in the correct direction. Normally I would install the motherboard first, but in this situation, we're going to go ahead and install this CPU cooler first, just because it's going to take up some room in here. And as usual, actually this is the one I have to front mount. I always forget about that in this case. Yeah, so this has to be front mounted. All right, let's get these fans over here. We just got to flip the fans around, and then we need to remove the front fan that's on there, and we'll move that front fan up to the top. We just gotta flippity flop these guys. That's where we left off. I'm gonna end up having to put new thermal paste on this thing. How many GTA in our lifetime? Probably 3 more. I did do it right the first time. I'm just redoing it to demonstrate that you can mount this CPU cooler in different locations depending on the configuration of the case. Didn't you know? Didn't I make that clear? I'm doing this because I want to, not because I have to. How dare you? How dare you? Feels like my my screwdriver is getting a little bit discharged. I was looking on Amazon for like the Black Friday sale. They have the stronger one, which has like it's like a 1 horsepower screwdriver. Like, what are you screwing in that you need a 1 horsepower screwdriver? Like, are you just trying to turn the heads of these screws into liquid? Because that's how you turn the heads of screws into liquid. All right, all those fans are flipped around. We're going to take off this front panel on this. Set that down to the side. We're going to remove a couple things. Well, this. Yeah, I'll just get an impact, like a air impact gun to run with my compressor. Oh, that ain't gonna work. All right, we gotta take this fan off, so we're just gonna use our trusty LTT screwdriver. Okay. Now, inside here, there's a little panel that comes off. Whenever I put a 360 cooler in one of these, I always go ahead and make sure I remove that just so we can move airflow around. The actual purpose of this little panel is if you have a fan mounted down here, instead of creating turbulent air throughout the case, this creates just like a little channel that forces some cool air from outside the case across your hard drives or across the power supply, because the power supply itself is a semi-enclosed unit, so it's hard to get airflow across your hard drives. So if I was putting a bunch of hard drives in here, I would mount this fan down here, and I would make sure I leave this in to create that pathway so that the hard drives themselves get some cool, fresh air. So if you're ever wondering what that was for, that's what that's for. I'm just gonna gently slide this into here. Move this towards me a little bit. Hard drives don't need cooling, he says. Clearly he didn't live through the days when hard drives would get so hot they would start to melt their platters because they were trying to make them spin as fast as they could. I have no clue where that went. See, because I used a washer, I'm completely okay leaving that floating like that. All right, that's threaded. Let me get the rest of these threaded in here, and I need to find a washer. There it is. And that fan we're gonna add as an exhaust. Now, do you need 10 screws to hold in your radiator? Probably not. But to make it feel nice and secure, like it's not gonna fall off, highly recommended. Now, we're gonna rotate this. This guy's gonna go back over here to pull air across the motherboard. So we're gonna have an angle coming up this way of air being pulled out of the case. All right, let's get this screwed in. And then we'll get this motherboard in here. And I will probably have all of these fans going to the commander if I can. All right, now, next step. Move that out of the way, move that out of the way. We're gonna lay this down. Don't touch the cooler. Do that. Make sure that fan is going, the cable's going out of the way. This goes in. This has an integrated I/O shield. Let's make sure it does not have a peel. Bring it down in there. And get our hole lined up. And we'll pull out everything out of the box because we need to get to the baggie of screws. You think you might take the 4 gigs of RAM off your Pi and put an 8 gig chip on it? I'd love to see how well that goes for you. That'd be an interesting little video to watch. Alright, and then these should be our motherboard screws. And again, you always follow the instructions for the case supplier on which screws are supposed to go where. So magnetism seems to be gone from a screwdriver, and we are on the right screws. All right, that's in there. Now we're going to get this into position. Figure out which way we're going to go with this. It's probably going to be like that. That 011 Dynamic Evo spoiled me. It'd be really nice if those other fans came in today. Go ahead and attach this cooler. All right, we're good to go. Now let's figure out routing for this cable. The pump signal wire is extremely thin and it just looks like a random cable. All right, so we can't route this way. We're going to have to go over the top, out the back. So try and make this as like minuscule looking as possible. Let's do that. And as far as the CPU pump, I don't see a specific pump header on this. Got a reset switch, LED, system fan 1. So I guess we're gonna go to CPU fan on this guy. We're just gonna make sure that there's something there. Now, at least that way it won't throw an error. And we have to very gently pull this cable back through. This cable is extremely thin. Let's get all of these cable ties off of these fans. Get all these cables to the back. And do the hard part. This is the hardest part of all of this build, is the cable management, to make it look good so no one ever sees it. All right, so we have some management holes back over here. Going to use some tweezers to pull these connectors through. So as you can see on the front, so far, look at that, no cables visible. Yeah. All right, now flip this over. These are going to go to our Corsair Commander. Ooh, that was sharp. It's going to go to our Corsair Commander, which our Corsair Commander is here. But first things first, as always, we're going to do these guys. We'll leave this in here as much as we can. This goes right there. Yep, this one's going to go all the way down here. I want to make sure I don't end up creating a knot. So this goes all the way down here at the bottom. That. Our next one is the USB-C header, which is this guy. Can only be installed one way. Remember that. If you're trying to put it in there and it's not cooperating, stop pushing. All right. And the last two groups of cables, because we have our HD audio, which comes all the way over to here. Which again, can't wait for the day that this just becomes obsolete and it's done through like a USB header on the motherboard. And then we have our actual like front panel connectors. All right, and then we're gonna pull all of these cables back. So fan cables out the way. And we see what we have to clean up a little bit. So like this cable, for instance, I'm just gonna create a nice little loop back. Going to come like that to keep it looking neat. Nice little loop back there, and then same with this. Now these cables and this, we're going to go to that cable management hole right there. Let's reverse this. Let's just go like that. That loop is unavoidable because of the way the cable sits on this motherboard. All right. So first batch of cables managed. An upper mid-range build. This one, what was the bill on this one? 2,000. So it's not a high end yet. It's a mid-range PC. It's just the upper portion of that. So this was a $2,000 build for this. All right. Is that looking all right? I think that's looking all right. Sure. But like for this build specifically, I'm calling it an upper mid-range for a reason. Because it's not the lowest, it's not the highest, it's right in the middle. I gotta leave in 2 minutes. Let's get this first cable batch done. We're gonna do what I've done in the past, which is all these fans. Like, I think I'm gonna try and put the commander like over here. Yeah, high-end build, you gotta think about it. Your video card for a high-end build is gonna start about $1,600. That being a 4090. That's a high-end build. Even a 4080 is what, still 800 bucks? All right, let's get this Commander Pro. All right, I need to see fan 1, fan 2. What I'm concerned with is, how is it possible that these things got like tangled up? All right, so we should have 3 lengths here. So So we got 3, 4, 5. All right. We're gonna see. Yeah, that's gonna go there. Though if this person ever needs to move this around, they're gonna have a little bit of a pain, but. All right. So we have, coming off of here, we have our regular SATA cable, and then we also have our SATA power. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna grab these cables, and we're gonna start zip tying. Start right here. Because that's one ugly bunt. All right, we did what we did last time. We made a bundle, much more manageable. And then this is just gonna come right up and through here. I might have to take that one off. That one might be a little bit too ambitious. Let's see where this is gonna go. Nope, it's fine. And then this is gonna go to power. So there's our fan cables. That doesn't look bad. Okay, so we have all these cables like ready to go. I really like, do you guys like see how thin this wire is? Yeah, you can check in the BIOS to see if it's showing up. This wire is so thin, it's sketchy. But I think this cable management is looking good. I think this is pretty good. What do you guys think? You think this is looking all right? All right, next, let's go ahead and toss our memory in here. And as usual, I will give everyone their daily reminder of make sure, oh, just okay? Thanks, Master. Daily reminder of read your motherboard manual to determine what the best configuration for your RAM is. And you follow what's on the motherboard, not what's in your brain. And in this situation, it's 2 and 4. All right, Corsair memory installed. Next, let's install our Vidya card. This is gonna be a tight fit. Wasn't expecting this card to be quite as long as it is. Like this is, once this gets in here, this thing's gonna have like millimeters of space. I might have to mount these fans on the outside. Yeah, I might need to move these fans outside of the case, which is going to cause me problems for all the cables I just installed. I legitimately did not realize how deep this card is. So that's where that would sit, and like that's touching. But hey, still spin. Let's find out. Let's see what happens. No shot that actually clears. Oh, not screen cap. Look at this. So this edge. Now that is a fit if I've ever seen a fit. Like this is so, like you can't fit a piece of paper through there, but guess what? It's not making contact with that fan. That guy that just came in, that is the sketchiest thing ever. He came in, the video card was flopping around and like it wasn't actually in the, like screwed into the slot. Anyways, let's look at this together. Let's zoom in. Let's grab a sheet of paper. And as you can see, I cannot, like I can fit a sheet of paper. That is it. This is a tight fit. All right, let's get all these peels off of here. And we might end up going back and we might end up moving all of these fans to the outside of the case. instead of having it be a draw through. I gotta get on a phone call. This is the tightest fit I think I've ever had on a video card. Like, to install it, I physically have to bend the case. But hey, as long as that doesn't move around, that's gonna be fine. Whoo! That is, I am genuinely proud of how close that sits. I want to get like from my point of view what this looks like. That's upside down. Like how close that is. Like from dead on, like right there. That's just wild. They are not touching. Let's pull this up. Power supply. This almost overkill of a power supply. But this gives this computer plenty of overhead. All right, so for this motherboard, this is with this processor, we have 10 CPU. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it comes with 10 year, 7 year. So with this processor, I am going to 100% use 2 CPU connectors. We're only gonna need one of these. Yeah, we only need one of these. And the reason I'm gonna use 2 is because on a whim, this CPU can pull massive amounts of power. And then we need, as usual, 1 SATA. All right, we're switching back over to this for the rest of the night. Seeing as it's already 5 o'clock. And it's taken me more than a day to get this computer built. So, let's get this power supply in, get this thing, get the rest of these cables in here, and then get this thing posted, get Windows installed, get that in there. So we got our 24 pin put in there now. Let's get this, get our 2 8-pin powers coming off of the GPU. We'll go over the top, underneath this, and out. All right, and then get our power cables hooked up, and then we will cable manage this. Alright, that's in there, that's in there. Let's first turn on. I feel in my brain like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think that I am. Everything should be plugged in. There we go. Alright, we got a boot. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked that video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my services, check out Bradenton PC Repair.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.